So I am going to show you how you can access on your Chromebook all of your uh, Adobe Fresco and how to transfer Adobe Fresco into the cloud where you can access it for Google Classroom. So on the school iPads, we should have Drive and Adobe Fresco. First thing you're going to do is you're going to sign in to Drive. Sign into Drive, then sign into Adobe Fresco. I'm already signed into both, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make a new one. When you make a new one, it gives you a few different options. If you're saving it to like the web, you can do digital. What we're going to be printing a lot of ours, so I want you to do like print, and it gives you options. You can do a custom one if you want, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 300 ppi, and 8 by 5 and by 11 is an okay size. All right, as long as it's 300 ppi, we should be able to print that really well. So now that that's open, a few different options are available to you through this program. One thing you can do is you can use, it comes in automatically, usually on the pencil, but you have a bunch of different brushes on here. If you look and see, there's charcoal, there's ink, and you can see there's different types of ink brushes. And say I click on this one and I decide, okay, I like that one, but you can also edit the brushes right here. So you can click on that little button. It gives you different things you can do, including adjusting the pressure of the brush. So this is going to give me smoothing, which is going to give me a different type of line. It kind of depends on, and more feathering. If it's less smooth, it's going to have a little bit more feathering. If it's more smooth, it's going to have less feathering, which is more of a pixelated look. And then I can also adjust the size and the color. So there you go. Now, in addition to that, you have your layers over here. If you click on this little thing, it'll make them go away. You can add layers. You can also hide layers, which is this little eye. And there's a few other options here. You can also change the opacity of a layer and the blend mode of a layer. So the next thing I'm going to show you is the different brushes. So this is live brushes. You'll notice that live brushes, oops, I'm on the wrong layer. Live brushes give you options to change the water flow, which is going to give you a different opacity. And then over here, we also have color and size. If you click on it again, you have the choice between watercolor and oil. Those are just going to blend differently and bleed differently too. And then in addition to that, we have vector brushes. Vector brushes give you these different things. They're really good for if you're doing an outline and then you're going to fill it with color, like this one here. So if I'm using a vector brush and I draw something on here, as long as it's a closed shape, when I go to take this, it'll fill it all the way, right? Whereas for regular brushes, if I draw a shape on here and then I fill it, you'll notice there's a little outline there. So you just have to make sure that you're kind of playing with it and getting to know what each of these do. Speaking of what each of these do, there's also an option to add an image in there. So if I click on this little photos button, I can even take pictures. I can work from files. So files, say you have something saved in your drive, you can actually download it from your drive. So let me open up my drive. See if I have any pictures in here. I don't know if there's pictures in here. Oh, I know there's pictures in here. I was looking at these yesterday. All right, so I'm going to click on this one and then go to the three dots at the top. When I do that, it gives me the option to open them in something, and then I'm going to save it to files. Sometimes it'll give you the option to like save it somewhere, but I'm going to save it to files. When I save it to files, I'm going to add a new file that says images. Done. And now I'm going to save it into images. Once it's there, then I can go back, go to files, go to files on my iPad, go to images, and it'll plop it down in there. Okay. Now resizing, remember, will change the pixels, but it's 300 dpi. So if you have like a really small image, it might get a little pixelated. This is a fairly good quality image, so it shows up nicely on here. You can also change how the image looks. You can also change the image this way, right? But if you don't want the image to do weird things, always make sure not to grab from the corners. Because if you do this, it's going to make the image really squished. You don't want a squished image. I guess unless you do want a squished image. And then this also give you different perspective settings. So let's go ahead and talk about saving this now. So for saving, you're going to go up to the little title thing here, and you're going to click on Save Now. And then you're going to go over to this little box that has a little arrow pointing up of it. You're going to click on that. You're going to click on Quick Export. And then you're going to go to, oh, sorry, wrong one. Never mind, not Quick Export. On the school iPads, you're going to be saving it to your drive. So what I'm going to ask you to do is click on that Publish and Export. And you're going to click on that button, and then you're going to click on Export As. So hold on, let me do that again. Publish and Export, Export As, and then you've got to change that file name. So in the assignment, it'll tell you what to name it. If it doesn't tell you what to name it, then what you can do is you can give it some sort of name that you'll be able to find it easily. And then you may have to do this twice. One time you might need to change it as a PSD. If we're asking you to preserve the layers, we'll want a PSD file. If we're just asking for an image, we'll probably ask for a JPEG file. Make sure it's got a high quality, and then you can export it. Once you export it, you can save it to files, or you can go to Drive, and then you can save it to the file of your liking. I would strongly suggest you have a file for each assignment, or you can go into your Drive and you can find your Google Classroom folder, which is titled Classroom. And then in here, you can find the class, you can find the assignment, and you can save it directly to your Drive. And then it should be easy for you to access later because you'll just log into Google Classroom and it'll be in your recents folder when you're attaching it to the assignments. One thing I'm going to say is on your Chromebooks, you will not be able to open up a PSD file unless it is downloaded to your computer and you open it up from either Photoshop, which you won't have in your Chromebooks, but you can use instead Photopea from your Chromebooks. Okay, so I'm just gonna click Save here and upload, and then it should be saved in there. So that's how you do it. Make sure that when you're working, you're consistently saving your work. And in any time that you are working in Fresco, if you navigate away, it saves automatically for you. So Adobe Fresco is really easy to use. You're welcome to use it whenever we give you the choice of assignments. And since we have iPads in our class, you can just go over and use it whenever. One last thing, always make sure that you sign out. When you sign out, you're going to click on this little blue button here. You're going to go to account, and you're going to click on sign out. All right. If when you're signing out of Drive, you're going to go, wants me to write it. You're going to go to the little top corner where it has your account. You're going to click on manage accounts on this device, and you're going to remove the accounts you don't want. Once they are removed, then you are good to go. Always make sure that you remove your accounts each class period from the device so that we don't have other students that are able to navigate around your drive and mess with your drive because they're using the iPad you used yesterday or earlier in that day. So hopefully that helps you understand how to use these things, and thank you for watching.